Vine stopped on the exit stairs of her department. The weather was good, a little cloudy. She was done with her classes, and then her eyes fell on someone sitting under the shade of a tree reading a book. He was the boy in her college, who kept to himself always in his own world. She always found him charming, and she didn't know why. His dark hair fell into his eyes. Jungkook rarely spoke to anyone, which only added to his mysterious charm. Rumors floated around that he was poor because he hadn't paid his tuition on time once. Some people whispered about his shabby clothes and how he had always seemed to disappear after classes. But Wine didn't care about any of that. She liked him for who he was. Yet people did. In a college so elite, even rich people got targeted for being under a certain rank. Wine. Yet, he was a complete different story. Wine loved how he never cared about those things, or maybe he did, and never showed. He never interacted with anyone. Gathering all her courage, she decided to today was the day she would talk to him. Heart pounding, she approached his table. Wine, the Great Gatsby, you're into classic books? She asked, hoping to gain his attention, and there she did. He tilted his head, almost wondering why she was suddenly talking to him. Jungkook, have you read it? She grinned and took a seat beside him like an uninvited guest. Wine, that's the only book I have read several times. Jungkook, I see. His attention shifted back towards the book, and Wine wondered what she shall talk about next. It was hard. He was a really hard case, and she totally sucked at making conversation, especially with those she hardly knew anything about. It was hard to crack. When some time passed by and he seemed completely drawn in his reading, she did something. Ryan, I like you. The moment those words were out, the next moment her hand was slammed over her mouth. But it was useless now. Seems like it had an effect on him. He stopped reading. Jungkook, even after you know what they say about me, Wine, is this supposed to be a problem? They're immature, spoiled kids of rich parents. I don't care about those things. He closed the book and finally turned to him. Jungkook, and by confessing here, what are you planning? Wine, are you always this cautious? I like you, and I was hoping for you to think about it or maybe give you a chance. We can work out. That was rare. He gained a lot of attention, but every time it was on a negative side. There was something about this girl which was different from everyone else. Wine, what are you staring at? I'm not that ugly now. Jungkook, have you heard the quote? Woman's beauty equals man's world. Just like you didn't care about my world, I don't judge women over external beauty either. He looked back at the book and she somehow was surprised how different he was from others, even more than her imagination. All of them were all about bragging about their parents' wealth and dragging each other down. Jungkook, although it doesn't mean you don't hold that. You're beautiful, Ryan. She felt something weird in her belly. Butterflies jumped around crazily and blushed appeared on his cheeks. Fine, thank you. She managed to say. She needed at least 2 business days to recover from this. She had received a that compliment a lot of times, but it was a different case with him. Jungkook, I'll give this a try. Let's date. He closed the book and placed it down beside her. That's it. That easily? How would do? She needed 20 days to process that. Ryan, you can't step back wherever you want, just because you're not satisfied with a thing or two. Jungkook, I'm a pretty patient guy. She swore she saw a little smirk. He was teasing her, and he looked handsome. What was all those reactions her heart was giving? Jungkook, will you be able to take it? I'm not easy to handle. Ryan, huh? Try me. Jungkook, oh, I will. He leaned closer to her face, so suddenly taking her breath away. A teasing smirk on his lips and his eyes full with amusement. She knew he was teasing her, so she pushed aside her shyness and held his cheeks and pecked his lips. Now it was her time to smirk and his time to be shocked. His eyes were slightly wide and she loved that reaction out of him. Wine, yes, to your earlier proposal. Let's date. Wine, did you even know about me before? Jungkook, I know everyone. Especially your purple highlights make you stand out a little in the crowd. Wine, they look beautiful, right? Wine was touching the sky. She was always hesitant, but she had no idea he would agree so easily. Even so, she knew she needed to take things slow. But suddenly, she felt people staring at her. When she looked around, they were whispering, looking her way, probably because she was with the guy whom everyone avoided. When she looked back at Jungkook, he seemed to not notice it, or maybe he did and never cared. After all, she was always the center of these gossips. Jungkook stood up and then extended his hand for her. Jungkook, let me take you out for lunch. She took his hand and got up. She excitedly held his arm and managed to crack a smile out of him. Jungkook, I called the car. Fine, okay, let's go. She didn't mind if he got a cab or whatever. She was excited and followed him towards the exit. A BMW stopped right before them. A man got down the car and held open the door for them. Jungkook helped her in, and she was clearly shocked. She looked out the window, and then the students around mirrored her expressions. He got inside as well and told the driver to take them to the usual restaurant he always visited. And Wyatt knew it was a five-star restaurant and pretty expensive on top of that. Jungkook, she was taught with some honesty. Me not caring about your external beauty didn't mean you didn't have it. Likewise, you showing no interest in my wealth didn't mean I don't have it. I just didn't like showing it off like others. I avoided wearing brands on purpose to avoid attention. Jungkook, I gained attention everywhere, but I went. And so I decided on this. I still received attention, but at least no one approached me for looks and wealth. Jungkook, my father is a surgeon and my mother is the owner of an enterprise. I'm the future heir to that. Wyan smiled and held his hand gently, feeling the sparks. Wyan, thank you for being honest on our first meet. Jungkook, I'll always be honest. Please be honest with me in return. She nodded and he intertwined their fingers. It was such a new feeling, warmth, and affection was all her heart received from him. She was even more looking forward to their relationship now. What Jungkook predicted came right. Now that the word spreaded of him being such a wealthy man and a future heir to a successful enterprise, he received with a lot of attention. Though he had wine now, and girls didn't approach him much, but some still did. However, Jungkook and Wan were able to overcome it through their honesty and trust in each other. The relationship might have started as a try, but it was successful. They were able to pull it off like a match made in heaven.